Welcome back, students. In the previous class we have seen why Mendel chose pea plant for doing his experiments. What are the reasons for this? Because he had, that is, the lifespan is very short, and there was 7 contrasting characters which were found in the pea plant, and the pea plant were capable of self pollination as well as cross pollination, and as the lifespan is very less, that is very short, so it can produce large number of samples, that is seeds can be produced in a large amount, and there is no dormancy in pea seeds. So these are the reasons why Mendel selected the pea plants. He did all the experiments on the pea plants. Now before moving to the lesson, we will know what are the important terms, because these terms we will be using in the lessons many times. We will use these terms frequently. So you just know what does these terms really mean. We'll be started. That is, few terms will be there, will be seeing, and the rest will move forward. Rest will see when we move forward in the lesson. But the most important terms, I am writing it down here. Here in this, the first and the foremost word which we will come across is gene, genetics, gene. Genetics is all about genes. Genes are the unit which are responsible for inheritance. Genes are the functional unit of inheritance, that is passing of characters from one generation to another generation, presence of a characters in an individual or a person, and passing of that characters from one generation to another generation. It is all because of the factors called genes. Earlier, gene were called as factors or discrete units by Gregor Mendel. Here, gene was previously called as factor. It was previously called as factor or discrete unit by the Mendel. Here, now we use, for this factor or discrete unit, we use the term gene. This gene is nothing but it is a unit which is responsible for inheritance. It is the functional unit of inheritance. Now the gene term is given by the scientist Johannesson. The term gene was given by the scientist Johannesson. So gene is nothing but a unit which is, or a factor which is responsible for passing of characters from one generation to another generation. Next important term which we will use in this lesson is alleles. Allele. Allele is nothing but form of gene. Gene is the unit of functional unit of inheritance. This unit is present in 2 forms. Mostly it is present in 2 forms. There are many, there are few cases in which multiple alleles are found, but usually a gene is found in 2 forms. A gene can have 2 forms. Here one form is the dominant. For example, a character, character will be there. A character is, suppose we take the character as tallness. Tallness is a character. To give this tallness, here gene will be responsible. A gene will be responsible who will be giving the character tallness to a plant, and that gene is in 2 forms. It can be in 2 forms. One is this form and another is this form. A gene can be present in 2 forms. So here this is the dominant form and this is the recessive form. Capital T is the dominant form and small t is the recessive form. So these two will be present. This gene is nothing but functional unit of inheritance, and this genes is in 2 forms. That is, this is allele. The allele is nothing but 2 forms of the gene. This is one form and this is another form. Both of them are responsible for height of the plant. Both of them are responsible for height of the plant. So one is dominant one and another is recessive one. So a gene which is gene is nothing but a unit which is responsible for giving a character, which is responsible for giving the character and passing the character from one generation to another generation. So that gene can be found in two forms. That gene can be found in two forms. Okay. So the height can be taller, height can be shorter. So it will be having both these forms. A gene will have both this form, tall form as well as the short form. So both of them will be, whether it is tall, whether it is short, both of them are giving the character. Which character it is giving them? Height. The character which they are representing is height. Okay. So for height it can be taller, it can be shorter. So two forms, that is T for tall and this T for short. T is the dominant and this small t is the, capital T is the dominant and small t is the recessive. So capital T is tall and small t is short. It can be of shorter height or it can be of tall height. Okay. So this T and T is the gene. It is present in two forms. One is T, capital T, and one is small t. So the capital T is the dominant one and recessive is small t is the recessive one. Capital T is the dominant one and small t is the recessive one. So these two are nothing but, these are the forms of a gene, and this gene is responsible for passing the character height to a person or from one generation to another generation. Now coming to another word, that is homozygous. Homozygous. If both the genes are of same type, if both the genes are of same type, okay, so gene can be found in two forms. But here what happens is, if this gene is of the same type, T and T or T and T, then this is called as homozygous. This gene is called as homozygous. This condition is called as homozygous, that is both the genes are of same type. Both the genes are of same type. For giving a character, there will be two units which are responsible. Two units which are responsible. Here, if both these two units are the same, then it is said to be homozygous condition. If it is, whether it is capital T, both capital T, or whether it is both small t. Okay. So homozygous means if both the genes are same. If both the genes are same. For character height, both the genes are capital T or small t, both are same. Both are small t or both are capital T. So both the genes are same. This condition is called as homozygous. In homozygous we find homozygous dominant as well as homozygous recessive. If we find two capital T, then the gene is homozygous dominant, because capital T is dominant. Capital T is dominant and small t is recessive. Dominant means character which can express itself, and recessive means if character which cannot express itself, so that character. So homozygous means same type of genes. Both the genes are of same type. If it is both capital T, then it is called as homozygous dominant, and if it is both small t, it is called as recessive. So homozygous, two types will be there. It can be both capital T or it can be both small t. If both the tall genes, that is if both of them are capital T, then it is dominant homozygous. If both of them are small t, then it is recessive homozygous. Now another term, that is heterozygous. Hetero means same. Hetero means different. The word homo means same. That is same type of genes. In homozygous we find same type of genes. In heterozygous we find different genes. So different gene, one will be capital T and one will be small t. One will be capital T, one will be small t. So both forms are different. This is one form and this is another form. Gene can be in two forms. It can be both same, it can be both different. If it is both same, then it is homozygous. If both of them are same, then this is called as heterozygous, whereas one is capital T, one is small t. This is heterozygous condition. Here the genetic makeup will be capital T and small t, but the expressing one will be, the height of the plant will be tall only, because T is the dominant. T is the dominant. Here for example, if a plant has this one, both small t, then the height of the plant will be short. Then the height of the plant will be short. If a plant has these two alleles, that is these two genes, if the plant has these two type of genes, then the height of the plant will be short or dwarf. But if the plant has both this capital T, then the height of the plant will be tall. The plant will be tall. Now coming to this one, if it is one capital, one small, then what might be the height? Average or middle? No. So in this capital T and small t also, the height of the plant will be tall. The height of the plant will be tall. Why tall? Because here both the genes are present, both of them are fighting. Okay, I will come out, my color will come out, tallness will, my height will come out. That is, this will say my height will come out. Both of them will fight, but at the end, the one who wins will be able to express itself. So always T is the dominant. T wins and T is always the dominant. So that is why if it is T and T, then also plant will be tall. If it is both T, then so definitely it will be tall. But if both of them are small t, then the height of the plant will be short. Now coming to another term which we will be using frequently is phenotype. Phenotype, when we say phenotype, we will be telling, we will be saying about the external appearance of the plant, physical appearance, how it is appeared, how it is appearing. The genetic that is how it is appeared, whether it is tall or whether it is short. So for example, if the plant has these two genes, T and T, then how this will appear to us? The height of the plant will be definitely tall. Okay. Then if the genetic makeup is this, one T and small t, then how this plant will appear? Because of this presence of capital T, the height will be tall only. When we see the height, so what will see? Tall. The physical appearance will be tall. Here also the physical appearance will be tall. But if it is the small t, then how the plant will appear? The height of the plant will be short. We cannot see whether it is having this T, both the T's, both capital T's or both small t's or one capital, one small t. What we see is the physical appearance, how we are seeing that plant, what is the height, if it is tall or whether it is short. So the physical appearance is phenotype, how the physical appearance is looking like, how it is that is how we are finding it from outside. And genotype is the genetic makeup which is present inside, the genes which are present inside. Here the genotype is one dominant, one recessive, that is heterozygous. The genotype here is heterozygous. The genotype here is homozygous. Homozygous. One is homozygous, one is heterozygous. But the phenotype is tall. The genotype, it is, one is heterozygous, one is homozygous. Genotype means genetic makeup, what type of gene it is having, what type of gene it is having, whether both the genes are same or whether both the genes are different. So what is the genetic makeup? Whether the genes are same or whether the genes are different. So that shows the genotype, okay, which we cannot see from outside. From outside what we see is the phenotype, physical appearance of the plant. And what are the genes, what is the genetic makeup which gives that appearance to that plant? That is the genotype. That is the genotype. Next, another word which will be coming across very frequently is crossing. Crossing. What do you mean by crossing? Crossing is nothing but breeding two plants, reproducing a new plant by breeding two plants, that is, or we can even say reproducing a plant. Crossing a plant means we are reproducing it, we are producing a new plant. So that means crossing means producing of a new plant, reproducing, not reproducing of a new plant. Now before we move to this selfing, let us see what is Punnett square. Punnett square. Punnett square, it is a box like, here this Punnett square, it is a square like box in which will have probable representations. We'll see how this works, but it is the Punnett square, the name of the square is, that is the name of this is given by the scientist Punnett. Here Punnett, the scientist Punnett discovered it, so that is why based on the name of the scientist it is said as Punnett square. In the square now, at both the sides of the square, at two sides of the square we will take gamete. At one side we will take male gametes and at one side we will take female gametes. At one side we will take male gametes and at one side we will take female gamete. For example, each gene will be having two factors. Each gene will be having two factors. It can be T or it can be T small t, that is, or it can be capital T and small t. So each gene will have two factors. Sometimes both factors can be same, sometimes both factors can be different, or sometimes, that is, both factors can be same. Now these are the pure ones. Homozygous means pure ones, same type, both of them same type. This is heterozygous, not pure, one is different, one is different, but here both of them are same, so that is pure. These are the pure characters, both capital T and both small t. So when we start across, we start with the pure characters, pure homozygous characters. So if this, for example, across, in order to produce or reproduce a new human being, so here there will be cross, that is gametes of male gametes of male organisms and gametes of female organisms. They will fuse together, they will cross or they will fuse together and make a new organism. So for example, what are the male gametes in human beings? Sperm. Sperm is the male gamete and egg is the female gamete. Sperm is the male gamete and egg is the female gamete. So each egg will be having T and T. Each sperm will be having both capital T. Sperm will be having genes, both the genes will be capital T and here it will be small t. So here, to make the square, at one side we will take this gamete. This is one gamete, this is another gamete. That is one gene, this is another gene. So each gamete will be represented by two genes. So at one side we will take male gamete and at one side we will take female gamete. So when we cross this, when there is fusion between male gamete and female gamete. So if we cross between this T and this T, what we will get? One capital T and one small t. This is capital T and this is small t. If we cross it between this and this, one will be capital and one will be small. So I have crossed this with both of them. Now I will cross this with another, both of them. So again you will get one capital T, this one, and one small t. So if I cross it with this, I will get one capital T and one small t. So when there is a cross between sperm and ovum, when there is a cross between sperm of a male and egg of a female, we get 4 probable offsprings. We get 4 offsprings. So if T containing sperm fertilizes with T containing, small t containing ovum, the representation we get in the box, that is this representation which we get in the box, is nothing but offsprings. We can get this type of offsprings. We can get this type of offsprings. So these are the parents, that is at this sides these are the parents, and these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 are the offsprings, that is children, which we can get from these 2 combinations. We get this type, that is the children which we get. So these 4 are the probable offsprings which we get. Okay, we can get this type. Now this is parent generation, this is parent generation, but this is another generation, next generation, that is children. This is F1 generation, that is parent generation. Now new generation has came, this is F2 generation, that is children or offsprings, that is children or offsprings. So here if we self these ones, selfing means crossing organisms of same generation. If for next generation, if crossing is done between these 2, if crossing is done between these 2, because of they are of the same generation, they are children of the same parent, of the same generation. So here if there is cross between these 2, then it is called as selfing, or if there is cross between these 2, then it is also called as selfing. If there is cross between these 2, then it is also called as selfing. If there is cross between these 2, then it is called also called as selfing. For example, to easily understand, I will put it as 1, 2, 3, 4. If cross is taking place, if reproduction is taking place in between 1 and 2, then it is also called as selfing, because 1 and 2 are both of the same generation. If the cross is between 1 and 3, then it is also called as selfing, because 1 and 3 are of the same generation. If the cross is between 3 and 4, then it is also called as selfing, because it is of same generation. If it is between 4 and 2, then it is also called as selfing, because it is of same generation. But if a cross is between this T and T, this one and this one, then it is not called as selfing, because this is this is generation 2 and this is generation 1. These are parents and these are children. If the cross is between the same generation, then we call it as selfing. When we call it as selfing. So few more words are there which we will discuss in the next class, but as of now, gene, it is the unit which is responsible for giving characters to an individual, and that is only responsible for transferring of characters from one generation to another generation. Allele is nothing but form of a gene. Gene is present in 2 forms. Usually a gene which will give a character, it will be present in 2 forms. So that is called as, that forms of gene is called as allele. So that gene, if the gene, both the forms of the gene are same, if both the forms of gene are same, that is both capital T or both small t, then the condition is called as homozygous. But if one is capital T and one is small t, one is different allele, another is different allele, both the genes are different, of different forms, then it is condition is called as heterozygous. Phenotype means how the plant look appearance wise. from outside how the plant looks. So that is phenotype. Genotype means what is the genes present inside the plant which is given this appearance. So that is called as the genotype. Crossing means reproducing a new plant or breeding a new plant. So in this Punnett square which was discovered by the scientist, here when we plot a cross between two parents, that is a male parent and female parent, that is in the resultant box we will get the probable offsprings. And if there is cross between same offsprings of the same generation, then it is called as selfing. A few more terms are there which we will discuss in our next class.